Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha, Guru Sakshat Param Brahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. We are in Amrutanubhava, chapter 6, verse number 68. And we are looking at the Shabda Khandana, the devaluation of the word. So here it said in the 60th OV, Taisi avidye sanmukhe siddhachi pratibheshedhake udhalichi nirarthake jalpe hoti. Similarly, the non-existent ignorance is self-evident. The non-existence ignorance is self-evident, and the use of word to destroy it are meaningless. It is in other words, it is a no-brainer that you cannot destroy that which is not, and that is what ignorance is. One meaning of this OV is the non-existence of ignorance is self-evident, and the use of words to destroy it is meaningless. Another way of interpreting the OV is in this way. Another way of interpreting the OV is in this way: in front of avidya or ignorance, the destroyer, that is the word, has no meaning. Why? Ignorance is the cause, word is the effect. How can effect remove the cause? It is not possible. That is one approach. And the second approach is that which is not there, how can it be destroyed by anything? But we take the words to be real. We take communication to be real. We forget the cause of these words. In fact, the cause of the whole creation, cause of all the means of knowledge is nothing but avidya, means of knowledge. Then who are you? You are knowledge itself. But what are you doing? We are using the means of knowledge to know ourselves. And you can try lifetime after lifetime. You will not be able to know. So while listening, while contemplating, contemplation is of the mind. In the mind, in that contemplation, we have to then let go of the contemplation also. We have to let go of the thoughts. For that, whatever exercise you employ is all right as long as the mind becomes silent. The Atma, which is already established self-existence and self-effulgent, which is already existing as one's own essential nature, does not require the word to prove its presence either in the waking or dream states or in the deep sleep state. To talk about the I is meaningless, it is only blabbering. I am, I am, I am, I am. You can't, कोई मतलब ही नहीं है उसका. Because you already are. You don't have to prove it to anyone or to yourself by saying again and again, I am, I am, I am, I am. If you use I am as a mantra, I am is soham, soham, soham. In English, it is I am. If you keep repeating it without being subjective, it will become a mechanical chant. सोहम सोहम लगे रहे लगे रहे लगे रहे. उसके बाद क्या? What after that? We have to recognize that we are the one which is transcendental, which is beyond, which is supporting, which is the substratum, which is the base of this thought also. So I am word is the indicator, and it is trying to indicate that which it does not know, who the thought, and you are the one. You are the one in whose presence all the thoughts are coming and going. All the supports are coming and going. All the alambanas. Word is an alamban, is a support. Therefore, in the field of ignorance, the word has no meaning because it is powerless to remove, it. Nor is it functional in the field of Atma Tattva because it cannot prove the truth. So what is the conclusion? Neither can you remove ignorance nor can you know the truth by thinking. अब कर लो भैया, क्या करना है. पापड़ बेलो, पूरियां तलो, पकोड़े खाओ. So by the words, you cannot remove ignorance, that is its cause, and you cannot come to know the truth. ये तो वाचो निवर्तन्ते. अरे तेरी की अब करें तो करे क्या? Then time pass. Be. Don't try to be. Just be. Let the mind try, but you be. This is a knack. Once we become introvert, then it clicks. Introverted means from manyness to oneness. Integrity starts happening. Synchronization starts happening. And that itself is purity. And as that happens, what is told here, it will become self-evident because you already are. How can the word describe the siddha vastu, an existing object that because of which the word gathers its own existence? What I said before, you are, the self is, the spirit is, the pure consciousness is the substratum, the base of all the words. Then you just said before, ignorance is the cause. It is, ignorance is also a word in your mind, no? But don't forget that. What is the base of that word, ignorance? So just as you say, I am a father or mother, it's a thought. What is the base of the father or mother? It is your mind. So mind is the cause. Father and mother, the roles that we are playing, they are the effect. See, what is the substratum? What is that because of which the mind is? Mind is because of the self. Or you can go by because of intellect, and that way you keep going back. till you arrive to yourself. So just because we have thought that I am a father or a mother, have you stopped being the man or the woman that you are? No, you are always man and woman. Then what is happening? You are forgetting that you are a man and woman, and first you forget that you are a man and woman, then you project that I am a husband or a wife or a mother or a brother, and so on it goes on. And who is in trouble? All these imaginary roles are in trouble. Man and woman are not in trouble. The roles, the idea that role has captured your mind, and all the reactions of husband are because of wife, the wife are because of husband, the child is because of the parents is because of the child. The load that we carry, that is the problem. And for who are these reactions? It is only for the roles. This way, contemplate and come to be at this very moment. अवसे आला सुधा करू न करीच काय अंधकारू अविद्या नाशी विचारू तैसा होय. The new moon may be present, but can it remove the darkness? Similar is the thought that the words are useful in removing the ignorance. The new moon may be present. So this is from our Kundalini point of view, or Kriya Yoga point of view, or step-by-step liberation point of view. Just as after Amavasya, full dark night, completely dark night, then the moon is coming up. Slowly it is presenting itself, just a slither, then slowly it becomes, keeps growing over the 14 days. But in the initial days, 2-3 days, you can see the moon in the sky, but is the moonlight able to disperse the darkness? You know it is there, but it is not removing the darkness. Then when does the darkness get removed? Full moon night, when it is fully bright. So as you go through the 14-15 days to reach the full moon, the dispersion of the darkness, meaning the light is pervading the darkness more and more and more and more. But can the moon remove the darkness completely? No. Who can remove the darkness completely? Only the sun. You are the spirit is the sun, mind is the moon. So, by thinking, by contemplating, by meditating, by doing the japa, by taking support, etc., etc., can you completely remove the darkness of the mind? No. Maximum you can reach is, this is just example sake, maximum you can reach is a full moon night. But until and unless the mind doesn't recognize that the light that I am emanating is that of the sun, that the original light is of someone else, this is only borrowed light. So when I come to this So, at the beginning of the chapter, the Atma cannot be revealed by the word, and now towards the second half of the chapter, the ignorance cannot be removed by the word. Now, if you are a sincere seeker, and if you are at least understanding, then what will be your conclusion? What will be your conclusion? Atma cannot be revealed by the word, ignorance cannot be removed by the word. What will you do then? खुजली है ना करने की. What will you do? I'm asking. What will you do? If the word is important in revealing the self and is important in removing the ignorance.
Just be.
Just be. You are always.
Just like the example that Swamiji about the full moon, at least go closer by going through the lectures and your satsang and understanding the scriptures.
Yeah, but remember one thing. That's why I asked this question. Understanding the scriptures. You have understood that the word is appearing in your mind as thought, and all understanding that takes place in you is by way of thoughts.
Yes.
And thoughts cannot reveal the truth, the self, nor the thoughts can remove the ignorance. Now what are you going to do?
Be silent, Swamiji.
Huh?
Be silent.
Good. Good. Be silent. The Ramana Maharishi tonic. Dakshinamurti. Maunam Vyakhyat Prakatita Parabrahma Tattvam Yuvanam. Remain silent. Our problem is we can't remain silent. Our mind continuously wants to engage in thinking, either of the past or of the future or of imaginations. It is addicted to thinking. But mind has another spectrum, which is silence, not inert silence, conscious silence. It has that. It has that ability to be that way. So prepare yourself to be consciously silent. See? Oh my God. So all scriptures are words, all Upanishads are words, all Puranas are words. And in the end, I studied all this only to come to know that the word which I am studying, conceptualizing, are important in revealing the truth and removing ignorance. Yes. These are such statements which must go deep into your psyche. Initially, until you don't understand, you will not, it will not be your, what do you say, until and unless we are not convinced of being in silence, will not remain silent as the mind. So mind has to be convinced that silence is better. So then engage in such a way with the world that it doesn't leave impressions. Engage with the world in such a way that you don't react. Yesterday again that same thought came. Move in through the world as the mirror, reflecting everything, rejecting nothing and retaining nothing. Are we like that? Or continuously our mind is like a magnet, attaching, pulling everything and getting stuck to it.
Alert from calendar. Day off for Foundation Day.
Day of
Alert from
Foundation Day. So this is the foundation. See? The same thought continues with another example. Na 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 nifazateni atre. क्या है? ना ना न निफजतेनी अन्ने जेवणे जेवणे तेची लघणे निमालेनी नयने pahatachi andhu. Consumption of the absence of food is not feasting but starving, as seeing with closed eyes is being blind. If someone eats non-existent food, it is only equivalent to starvation. If someone tries to see with closed eyes, it is equivalent to being blind. Similarly, to remove avidya, ignorance, which is non-existence, is meaningless. By the word, one can neither see the truth nor remove ignorance. Then what are the children playing? When they play home, they get their small teacups and kettles and kitchenette and everything, and the girls, brother, sister, or friends get together, and you come into the office, you enter there, they come, they give you invitation. Hello, come over for tea. I'm making pakodas and I'm making nice tulsi, mint and wagh bakri chai, specially boiled, and they give you the seat. Where you have to sit? Imaginary chair. They'll give you an imaginary cup. They'll give you an imaginary plate with pakodas. And you have to eat the imaginary pakoda and enjoy. Drink the imaginary tea and say, oh, I never tasted tea like this. It is absolutely superb. And she will make the dialogue, thank you for appreciating, or is it better than my mom's? Huh? But where is this whole thing going on? Only imagination. There's nothing there. Yet the whole drama is being played out as if it is real. Knowing fully well, it is only a game, it is only a drama. But when you play the role, you play it 100%. So you also, as an adult, when you are invited by that child, you also play the game. She is also playing the role, you also play the role. If there you go with the child, hey, where is the cup? You are telling me to drink the tea. I can't, you didn't give me anything. Then it's not a game. Then you are the fool, not the child. The child is even alert if you are holding the cup and if you just put the hand like, hey, where's the cup going? You hold it properly, she will scream. You see? Same thing is this world also. But we have stopped playing the game. Play the role 100%, knowing that all this is a knot. Taking another example, कैसी ही वस्तु नसे जे सब शब्दाचा अर्थ तो हो वैसे ते निरर्थकपणे नाशे शब्द ही थिता. The description of a non-existent thing is meaningless, and so are the words that are used to describe it, and therefore self, Atma, is beyond words, and ignorance also is beyond words. Both are beginningless. Both are beginningless. But Atma is Anant. Ignorance, avidya, it is not Anant. It is Anadi. It is from what it is from a beginningless time, but it has a conclusion. When you come to know yourself as you are, which is pure consciousness. And how will you come to know? By not taking support of any of the children of avidya. Then alone. If something does not exist and if a word is used to refer to the non-existent object, both the description of the object that is being described and the word used to describe it are meaningless. In the same way, avidya or ignorance is non-existent, and therefore all efforts put forward to remove it and the words used to destroy it are null and void. Then why are the scriptures, Bhagavad Gita, Panchadashi, Upanishads, etc., they explain so much. Avidya's child is Kama, Kama's child is Karma, Avidya, Kama, Karma. This is its genesis. Avidya is Sattva, Rajas, Tamas, Trigunatmika, and from the Tamas came the space, air, fire, water, earth, and so on. Why do they go into so much of explanation of the avidya? Why? We are soul. We love this word why, isn't it? Why? Why? So that we recognize where we are going wrong. Who is going wrong? Self can never go wrong. Then who is going wrong? The mind is going wrong. The effect of avidya. My mind at individual level is avidya at the total level. The mind is going wrong. How do you have become so caught up in the whirlpool of the mind, and continuously we are being sucked into the depths of that whirlpool. Being sucked into the depths of the whirlpool is being sucked into the belief, all the beliefs and convictions that we have. They are the various whirlpools. I am a wife, I am a husband, I am a teacher, I am a student, I am a seeker, I was born, I am going to die, I am the body, I am the breath, I am the mind, I am the intellect. I am sick, I am healthy, I am hungry, I am thirsty. These are all the different whirlpools. And we have taken them to be real. And you don't even realize that you are in a whirlpool till we remind you, or till the scriptures remind us. Every thought that appears in the mind is a whirlpool. And first we have to recognize this is where we are getting caught in unwanted thinking. Then once we have recognized that this is the way the mind is functioning, then we withdraw our attention from the mind. We withdraw the importance giving to the mind, recognizing it to be what it is. What it is? Two ways again. Either it is nothing or it is everything. Either it is nothing or it is everything. If it is nothing, then you have to go beyond the thought of nothing. Because nothing cannot reveal nothing. No brainer. And if it is everything, again, the thought cannot reveal how mind is everything, because mind is caught up in thinking, and thinking cannot reveal the totality. Only surrender can. And that surrender is non-manifestation of the word. Only then the surrender will happen. So for this all these words are being used. देखो मजेदार बात. So ignorance is non-existent. Avidya is non-existent, and therefore all efforts put forward to remove it and words used to destroy it are null and void. So the masters say, we must put efforts in the initial stages, and once it clicks that you are other than the body, then all you have to do is remain attentive of this self, this conscious principle, in and through. And whenever the inner pull comes, sit with it. Otherwise, just remain attentive of it. That's all. When attentiveness becomes a burden, when our attention is being hijacked by the world and you are fighting the world which is in your mind, and you are fighting the world, you are fighting the manyness, the multiplicity, the diversity, and trying to pull yourself and want to be attentive of the self. This struggle does not give strength to the self. This struggle validates that multiplicity is real. Whenever we struggle validates that the diversity, multiplicity, which is nothing but the world, is real. And this is how we have wired ourselves up. And as a result, we keep sabotaging our own happiness. So don't struggle. You have a direct experience that in sleep you are struggle free, effortless, and that's where you experience the maximum bliss. Why is it so difficult to remain effortless, struggle free while waking? Why in the name of spirituality we start struggling? I have to know myself, I have to do this, I have to do that. No. See? Remain silent. Sant Jnaneshwar Maharaj goes through another spell of weariness, doubtful whether he has been able to put across the thought convincingly that ignorance is non-existent and the word has no power to remove it. Jnaneshwar Maharaj is a realized master. He is also becoming weary, meaning as his mind is unfolding these thoughts, the mind is thinking, have I become convinced? Can the mind ever be convinced of the truth? Conviction is one thing, but that conviction must lead to abidance. Here, his mind, he has come to know he is the reality. And the mind is trying to communicate these subtle truths that ignorance can not be removed, truth cannot be known by words. It's trying to communicate it to the audience, to the seekers, and he's feeling, has he done the job? Is there anything still left? Have I been able to communicate it to them? Have I done justice to that idea? That words are unable to reveal the truth or destroy the ignorance, are not able to do that. So he says, Ata avidya chinahi he kira mano kai paritena shita kahi Nureci Shabdace. In how many ways should I emphasize that the ignorance is non-existent? Not only this, but the word that attempts to destroy the ignorance also becomes non-existence. The word that attempts to destroy non-existence also becomes non-existent. This is going to para. Vaikhari madhyama pashyanti para. You took the name Ram, or nowadays Om Namah Shivaya. Now Ram is coming, Ram Navami is coming, and Om Namah Shivaya is going. Or he is always there, but Shivratri is over. Ram, Ram, Ram. Why? I want to know the Lord. I want to surrender to the Lord. I want to be one with the Lord, who is nothing but the self. So, from many thoughts in the mind to one theme, Ram, Ram, Ram. Then it goes inside. A jap happens. Then word becomes non-existent. It leads to silence. What is that silence? That is bypassing the causal state. Bypassing the causal state means what? Bypassing the deep sleep. Bypassing the deep sleep means what? Bypassing the ignorance, bypassing the nothingness, bypassing the void. But void is not something, it is something if you give it attention. If you bypass Pashyanti, then alone you can reach para. If you remain, no, I have to cross ignorance, and ignorance is the thought in your mind, you will reach the totality. You will not reach the absolute. Then you have to work hard. From there also you have to go. How long? I don't know. No, I crossed the threshold of waking, I crossed the threshold of dream, and now I have to cross the threshold of the deep sleep also. But deep sleep, this is what Vedanta is telling. Deep sleep is not an object of contemplation. Deep sleep is nothingness. Nothingness means there is nothing, there is absence. How can you, and you are spending time to remove that which is not? ये क्लिक होने वाली बात है. And the moment you stop worrying about it, so yes, you must quieten down the Vaikhari and Madhyama. The moment Vaikhari and Madhyama are quietened down, don't try to remove the ignorance after that. Then ignorance means, at this stage, Pashyanti means silence. Pashyatni means no thoughts, no multiplicity. Who knows this? Be that. Who knows there is no more thoughts of Vaikhari and Madhyama? Because what is silence? Silence is absence of thoughts, isn't it? So who knows there is no thought anymore? That there is no eruption of the thought anymore? Be that. Vedanta is all about making you understand through words, like he is making us understand about, don't try to remove ignorance, through words, that this one, the moment Vaikhari and Madhyama conclude, what remains behind in that, what is there, pervading that silence, supporting that silence, is that silence, that conscious silence. Is the infinite self. That nature of it is infinite. It is the most ancient. It is the Nitya Shuddha Buddha Mukta. It is Satchidananda Swarup. It is one without a second. It is Sarvam Khalvidam Brahma. Because we do not accept the self that we are of that nature, we keep struggling and struggling and struggling and struggling. We are not convinced, or we are maybe mind is afraid. And mind is only afraid because of one thing: it is still attached to the world. It is still attached to the roles. It is still attached to the past or future. It is still attached to the body. That's why it is afraid. Everything is connected in that sense. The same thought continues with another example. Oh, sorry, we are here, no? In how many ways should I go on explaining how ignorance is non-existent? Man does not suffer because of avidya. He is suffering because he is alive. Life is supporting health and disease, childhood and old age. To focus attention on this conscious principle that one is and not on the pairs of opposites is a sukshma, which are subtle thinking. See, same thing. It is the life. What is life? Life is not a straight line. What is life? It's ups and downs of life. Life is ups and downs. Life is change. Life is waking, dream, deep sleep. Life, this is its expression, okay? Because when there is a straight line, there is no life. Doctor, you all know that, isn't it? But what we have done, we have taken life to be real, and that which is supporting the life, we have forgotten him, forgotten that. So he says that man does not suffer because of avidya. You are not suffering because of Atma. You are not suffering because of ignorance. Ignorance is bliss. Every night you are ignorant when you go to sleep. So you are not suffering. You get up rejuvenated. You don't get up troubled. You get up refreshed after diving into ignorance. Huh? So why do you hate ignorance so much? Don't hate it. Don't dislike it. So we do not suffer because of avidya. He is suffering because he is alive. This life that we call this what is this life? This life is this principle of life. And this life is what? So that infinite reality is reflecting through this body as life, expressing through this body as life. And what is it supporting? It's supporting health, disease, hunger, thirst, heat and light, all the opposites, inside, outside, intelligent, not intelligent, seeker, not seeker, ignorant, wise. And when we get identified with any of these, then the suffering begins. So either you take life as a principle, you don't cry because light bulb has fused, you don't cry because light bulb has fused. You know electricity is, and you know the principle of light is. Electricity is the Paramatma, and the light expressing through each bulb is the life. And what is this light supporting? It's supporting that which can be seen. It's supporting the various objects. And because your attention is on the various objects illumined by the light, so you know there is absence of objects between two objects also. That absence is also supported by this only. The light is expressing between the two objects also, but you cannot see it. You can see only where it is reflecting. You can see that object because object has a surface. Nothingness doesn't have a surface. Absence doesn't have a surface. See? So life, whatever you know, you give it a surface by way of thoughts. If you get identified with the thoughts, you forget the life principle, you are moving in the whirlpool of that attachment. See? So here when he says that he is suffering because of life, life is supporting all the opposites. And to focus attention on this conscious principle that one is and not on the pairs of opposites is Sukshma Sharira. So from the world come to the senses, from the senses come to the mind, from the mind come to the intellect. In the intellect is the I thought. From the intellect come to the principle of life, Chetana or Chaitanya. Chaitanya is, not Chetana, Chaitanya. Chaitanya is reflected consciousness, Chidabhasa. That is the life principle. And knowing that Chidabhas, reflected consciousness, you have come to the full moon. Knowing that this full moon, the full moon knowing that the light that the nature of light that I am is originally the sun. Similarly, the Chidabhas knowing that it is the infinite spirit in essence. This is the journey. To focus attention on this conscious principle that one is and not on the pairs of opposite is a sukshma vichara, subtle thinking. Again and again, in and through life, every moment, without inertia, laziness, remain self-centered, remain self-conscious, remain self-aware. Nothing needs to be done. Just be aware, be attentive of that you are the conscious principle. And yes, every time the attention goes to some objects, immediately bring it back to the conscious principle. You remain there in the world, you remain in the duality, then it will be a downward spiral. You think of the world, it's like you have reached 99 in the snake and the ladder, and before you know, you have to struggle all over again to climb up. On that snake on the ladder, every time you fall down is because you have put attention on the world. You are given validity to duality. That's why the snake takes you down. Then what is the antidote? Antidote is, as long as you are a thinking person, the antidote is be attentive of the self. I have to, this is also, this world, the world, all the worlds are, the whole world is nothing but a thought, and I must not give heed to the thought, because one thought will multiply into 2, 2 into 4, 4 into 8, and it goes on. Then who am I? I am the support of all thoughts. Story over. Without me there can be no thoughts. So why should I think about thoughts? I'll be myself. Avidya gains meaning only so long as one's perception is from the relative standpoint. Same thing, when you think of duality, when you think of the world, that is the relative standpoint. When you give that, the relativity, when you give duality, the world, the manyness, validity, at that very moment, you have fallen from being the infinite consciousness to individual consciousness. That very moment, you have imagined that I am in reference to this body, I am in with reference to this mind, to this time, I am in reference to this object, and I start defining myself with references. That is called crystallization of personality. When you take, the more the references, the more crystallized our personality is, I is. No references. No references. You're free, full moon. Dekho. Avidya gains meaning only so long as one's perception is from the relative standpoint. Avidya hides its own illusory nature under its own cover and appears as if it is the reality. Ignorance hides its ignorance under its own cover. The darkness hides all the objects by the darkness only. The darkness hides the variety, which is its effect, by its own nature, by its own darkness. Such cunning she is. I should use the word cunning. That's how it is. Depending on the angle from which one sees the world is seen either as an effect of ignorance or as the manifestation of the abundant, luxurious bliss that I is. So choice is ours. How do you want to look at the world? You want to look at the world as according to Shankaracharya, or you want to look at the world according to the Ishvara Dvayavad? You want to introduce another step? That's up to you. First I do neti neti, then I do anvaya. I'm not the world, I'm not the senses, I'm not the mind, I'm not the intellect, I'm not the total intellect, I am the Paramatma Swarup. Or you accept that the whole world is nothing but Paramatma Swarup. Choice is ours. If we keep looking at the world as an individual, this vision will never present itself. it will never present itself. You have to keep chipping away till there is nothing to chip away. Or accept everything is as it is, that I am. See, Ishwara Advaya Path, the Parabrahma Paramatma cannot be known objectively. Then what can you come to know? You can come to know that the entire world of variety is pervaded by the divine. This you can come to know. Because as long as the body is there, very rare few are those who know the Parabrahma Paramatma. Rest everything, either you keep chipping away and come to know, when you come to know the Anvaya that everything is the same, everything is the self alone, or from beginning you take that position. Why, wherever we want to chip away, you are working hard. You are trying to chip away that which is not. You are trying to chip away or get out of identification. You are trying to get out of the various roles. You are trying to get out of the various attachments, obsessions, thought fixations, memories, expectations. But all these are expressions of ignorance. They are not there in the first place. How can you remove them? How can you remove them? Then what to do? All this is nothing but divine. Then what happens? Every moment you see that you are interacting with the divine. When you are continuously attentive of the divine in every interaction, every moment, then the world of variety is not available because your attention is on the divine, which is the all-inclusive principle. Then how is it? Then it is like you are looking at the world, just like you are looking at the mirror, you are looking at your reflection in the mirror, but you know you are not the reflection. You know you are not the reflection. Similarly, you look at the world, you know this whole world is just a projection of the mind, it's just a reflection, nothing to be serious about. Everything is divine. Without the original, the reflection cannot be. Story over. Therefore, words which are used for the destruction of non-existent ignorance can neither remove ignorance nor do they have any meaning. Therefore, the Mandukya Karika states, there is neither creation nor destruction, neither bondage nor freedom, neither seeker nor sought. That is the Paramatma, the reality. All these words are just they become meaningful only when we give the validity to the world. Therefore, Jnaneshwar Maharaj wants us to change our vision and not talk about the world as an illusion or as a tragic place to live in. This is the language of the non-existing entity called ignorance. He doesn't want us to take the world to be an illusion. He wants us to take the world to be an expression of the divine. As long as your attention is on the name and form, the differences will be valid. When your attention is on the substratum, then in spite of the names and forms, we will be one with the divine, or we'll see the divine expressing. This is Ishvara Advayavad. Who is Ishvara? Ishvara is the Upadan Karan, the material cause of the whole universe, and he is the creator of the whole universe through his Shakti. And who is Ishvara on the other hand? He knows that he is the Parabrahma Paramatma. So he knows he is the absolute, and at the relative level, Ishvara is unclutched from his Prakriti. He is not enslaved by the Prakriti. Take that position. Now the thought concludes. Ya lagi avidye chiya mohra uthilya hi vichara anga chachi sansara ho ni thela. Therefore, when the inquiry turned its direction towards the ignorance to find out the ignorance, it got lost and disappeared. This is happening to you every night. But we succumb to the ignorance. Here, Jnaneshwar Maharaj is awake to the ignorance. Meaning, when you are awake, ignorance, urvarukam eva bandhanat, it goes away because it is not there only in the first place. But we succumb to sleep. We become ignorant by succumbing to sleep, surrendering to sleep. He is surrendering to the self by being the self. When we go to sleep, our consciousness goes to sleep. We are not aware of ourselves. Our consciousness goes to sleep when we go to sleep. In Jnaneshwar Maharaj's case, his attention is on the self, so ignorance goes to sleep. Ignorance becomes invalid. Therefore, when the inquiry begins into the nature of ignorance to find out and grapple with it, ignorance got lost and disappeared. Just as when one starts going towards the mirage, one to touch the water, it keeps receding and finally disappears. You can never touch the water of the mirage. You cannot drink it. You cannot take bath in it. And that's what happens in the desert. In these camel caravans, nomads, when they are traveling, they see sometimes the entire oasis, mirage of an oasis, and they think there is a water there, there is date trees and houses, and they keep following the mirage. After some time, suddenly, as quickly as it had appeared, instantly it vanishes. And suddenly these nomad travelers, they find themselves, they die. Because how long they have traveled following the mirage. That's what we are doing. We are following the mirage. Mirage of the world. The world is the mirage. It can never satiate you. It can never quench your thirst. It can never satisfy any desire. And we are running after it. We are attached to it. We are owning it, possessing it, remembering it, collecting memories about it, expecting more from it. From what? From mirage. Day in and day out we are running towards it. Like that nomad. If you put attention on the objects, they can never satisfy. It's a useless journey. Just as when one starts going towards the mirage to touch the water, it keeps receding and finally disappears. You touch an object of desire, you achieve it, the desire disappears. Then another desire comes. Then you achieve it, again that also disappears. But you are never satiated. Any time that you thought you had satisfied your desire, any time it can come up again. And now, having given so many examples and explained logically from so many different angles, the trend of thought is concluded with Manauni avidyece nimarane pramana yeil bolane he avidyachi nahi pane nedi ghado. Therefore, the ignorance itself being non-existent does not allow the word to attain the authority of destroyer of ignorance. How nicely it has been put. The word being the effect of ignorance doesn't gain the authority as the destroyer of ignorance. That's what we are trying to do by studying scripture after scripture after scripture. If these words are not prompting us to be subjective, then this is what is taking place. We are trying to destroy ignorance by words. It is not possible. See, these type of thoughts which are being given here, they should be employed, these ideas that ignorance cannot be removed by the word, by thinking. This should happen when you are on the seat of meditation. That's where the mind comes into play. It is possible here also. Therefore, the word cannot gain the credit as destroyer of ignorance because ignorance exists in its own absence and will not allow the word to gain that status. Avidya cannot be removed by the study of all the words because avidya is not. All the words, scriptures. These sentences are like a neem goli. It's kadwa, it's bitter to take in. But neem taken, it cleans your entire system. Brings you back to health. Same way, these words, what are they talking about? That a word cannot remove ignorance. My God, my whole life has been purposeless then. If you think in this way, nobody can help you. If you think, wow, at last I understood, it has clicked. That I must not unnecessarily struggle in life. The way to move through life is being aware of the self. Accepting everything, no struggle. Rejecting anything, no struggle. Retaining anything, also no struggle. Be that way. Struggle comes when we try to retain that which is not, which is the reflection. Yesterday I looked like this. Today what is happening to me? Why am I looking different? Where has the pimple come from? Why my hair is not staying in its place? Why my nose is looking bigger? You're trying to compare your reflection of today with yesterday, or some idea in your head. I want to be like Hema Malini. I want to be like, sing like Lata Mangeshkar. Comparison. Then it becomes a load. This is the important principle established up to the 74th OV, namely that the word has no value in the field of the removal of ignorance. It is commonly held that after the destruction of ignorance, the Atma is revealed. This is how Shankaracharya says that after the ignorance is destroyed, Atma reveals itself. When you do neti, this is how it is explained there in the Bhashya and all. The second part of this statement has as little meaning as the first. It is like saying that the sun will be revealed after the darkness is removed. We use those words for communication. Don't we say, hey, when we go for pilgrimage, we have to get up early in the morning. Suppose we have to trek one day, we wanted to go trekking to Yamunotri or Kedarnath. And he said, चलो शुभ नहीं थोड़ा अंधेरे को जाने दो ना फिर चलते हैं. अंधेरे को जाने दो. अंधेरा है क्या कोई चीज कि अंधेरे को जाने दो? This is how we speak. Instead, if you had said, no, let the sun arise, then we will go. But the sun is always. Ignorance cannot go anywhere because it is not. See how you become alert, not to use the wrong language. Excuse me. It is like saying that the sun will be revealed after the darkness is removed. It is like saying, after I learned swimming, I will get into water. It will never happen. If you wait for darkness to remove, you will wait for life after life after life. However, in the initial stages, this is important point now, because all these thoughts that were presented by Jnaneshwar Maharaj or are being presented, and the commentary given by Swamiji also, is coming from the highest standpoint. But where are we? Are we at the highest at this moment? We are understanding but not able to abide there. So where is the error happening? So therefore, however, in the initial stages of spiritual development, when the intellect is still gross, it has not become subtle. Intellect becoming subtle means it has come to the Chidabhas. It is the Sakshi. Then it is subtle. Then it is possible that it bypasses, it becomes silent and it bypasses the causal and recognizes without words that it's the transcendental one. When the intellect is still gross, this view of ignorance and knowledge is inevitable. Gradually, as the understanding becomes deeper and more subtle, the perspective has to be dropped. Otherwise, all sadhana will remain static at the level of removal of ignorance only, and will never lift itself out from this morass. Jnaneshwar Maharaj tries to devalue this approach. So yes, initially we say, hold on to the higher so that the lower can be dropped. Hold on to the subtle so the gross can be dropped. Hold on to the causal so that the subtle can be dropped. Hold on to the transcendental so that the causal also can be dropped. These are the ways and terms by which we Shankaracharya puts it across. Now, as long as you hold on to the transcendental, you are still in ignorance. You cannot hold on to the transcendental because you are the transcendental one. So this final adjustment, you have replaced the gross with the subtle, subtle with the causal. Now you don't make the transcendental into a concept. Don't make it into a concept. Concept means intellectual understanding. It begins that way, with intellectual understanding. But we have to go beyond the intellect. Going beyond the intellect, from the gravity of the intellect, is freeing the I. You are ever. It is the intellect which goes through waking, dream, deep sleep. It is the intellect which goes through the I thought or no I thought. It is the intellect which goes through this I is actually of transcendental nature, it is pure consciousness. It is Nitya Shuddha Buddha Mukta Swarup. It is this I which cannot be thought of. Then why are you thinking, man? Why is the intellect intellectualizing it? Because that is the nature of the intellect. Let it. You be. The thinking will also silence. That you have to assess. Are you trying to convince? Are you trying to reach somewhere within yourself? Are you trying to shift the attention from outside to inside? Are you trying to, when we say, let your eyes look at themselves, there is an effort that you are trying to not see any object in this world and shift your attention to your eyes. Effort is involved. Effort is involved. But knowing that I is effortless. Same way, shifting the attention to the I, to the self, it requires effort. Automatically thoughts will start coming in. But to be the self is effortless. These two sentences which I said, that happens at the this could be the conclusion, or you can postpone the conclusion. That's up to each one. So having denied ignorance, not this, this is not Atma. The second half of the statement, namely, when the Atma is revealed, is taken up. What is Atma? A lot of words are used to define Atma, such as Satchidananda Swarupa, Nishkala, Kevala, Nitya, Nishkalanka, Nirvikalpa, etc. These words are also devalued from 75th OV onwards. Now, all the attributes, qualities, all the words which define Atma, even they are being devalued. This topic we will begin in our next class. Om Purnamada Purnamidam पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः हरिः ॐ श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ॐ Hari Om everyone.